Welcome to The Vault, everybody.
Oh, hello.
We're just going straight into it. Hi on YouTube, hi on Spotify, hi on Apple Podcasts, hello everywhere around the world.
Hi.
My name is Dave. To my left is Jessica Mclean.
Hello, world.
Mother Duck.
Wow.
No, we were looking for other bird names.
We are looking for bird suggestions.
I'm going to say Mother Swan.
Wow.
No, it's weird.
Not feeling it?
No, it's not.
Still duck? Okay, we'll stick on duck.
We have, by the way...
If you know a better animal-based nickname for Jess, please send us an email at thevault@hillsong.com.
Guys, I don't know how this podcast is going to go because...
Why is that?
We don't have Terry.
We don't have Terry. Let's
no.
just calm down. Just take a breath. Just a big breath in and hold it for a moment. Dan.
I have an idea.
I haven't introduced you yet, Dan. Okay. On my far left, funny man Dan, the pusher of keys, the verifier of facts. You're with us in the middle of Sydney. Let us. You held your breath as long as you could.
That wasn't as long as I could.
You're with us in the middle of Sydney. Why are we in the middle of Sydney, Jess?
Oh wow! Because it is Colour Conference 2020.
Yes.
We are at the ICCCC. Might be what it's called.
Yep.
And it is our Global Women's Conference launching in Sydney, Australia.
Correct.
45th year. It's very exciting.
Really?
If you'd like to see what Sydney... It's not 45 yet. If you'd like to see what's behind us, please jump on YouTube and check out the channel, the video there.
Yep.
Because I'm looking down at the beautiful Chinese gardens.
Yeah, the Chinese gardens are gorgeous.
They are lovely. It's a good view from up here. It is a very lovely view. Maybe we should get some shots at the end of the recording, Alison. You should remind me to grab some shots of the city so we can cut them in. Now,
I have a suggestion, David.
Yes.
Before we start, we normally salute Terry.
We do, yes. What have you got?
I've got a picture of Terry.
Okay.
Now, it's not going to show up well.
It's going to show up very badly.
Yeah, but I feel like if we do this, we could superimpose something on the screen.
No effects.
We could say, yeah, I think we should.
The's definitely something that won't happen. All right, so
here we go.
Terry, do you bless this podcast?
Yes, you did.
Amazing.
Wow.
Dear.
So
you need to check out YouTube to know what we're talking about.
100%. Most of what we do only makes slightly more sense on YouTube. Now, so this is episode 15, am I correct?
Oh my goodness.
Is it 15, Dan?
Whatever it is, we're glad that you are here with us.
Thank you for joining us on the Vault podcast. The Vault is where the wisdom is. This is a children's ministry leadership and training podcast, and it is something that's been on our hearts for a long time to do, and we are finally doing it, and we appreciate all of you Vaulters. We should name our audience.
Vaulters!
The Vaulters.
Hey, Vaulters.
Goldies.
Hey, Vaulters. We're Vaulters together because we're a team, right?
Vaulters, but it sounds like we're jumping over things in a gymnastics experience.
Absolutely.
We should do that one time.
Yeah.
I bet you couldn't vault that road case, Dan.
I bet you I could.
No.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no.
Dan, the mics are here. It doesn't matter.
Wow, Dan. You're our team.
A lot of children's pastors are on their own and their departments. We want to be on your team. We want to support you. We want to laugh when you laugh. We want to cry when you cry. We want to celebrate with your wins. And today, it's all about questions. But before we get to questions, we need to talk about Colour Conference.
Oh, yeah.
Because
you might hear the bump in rock music that's going on in the background.
Dave, can you just pretend it was our sponsor? Can you say before we need a word from our sponsor and we talk about the sponsor?
Can you speak into the microphone?
Well, it'd be great. We're going to talk about Colour Conference. Just pretend we've got a sponsor.
Like you mean Colour sponsored us?
Yeah, why not?
All right, sponsored by Colour Conference. Now, we are looking very calm and relaxed right now.
Yes, we are.
Now, I want to explain why we're looking calm and relaxed right now, because Colour Conference is in Sydney. It starts in Sydney, goes around the world. And for the last few years, we've had two conferences. Mm-hmm. Conference 1, Conference 2. Conference 1 is here in the beautiful ICC in the centre of Sydney in Darling Harbour. But Conference 2 is at our Hills location, at our church location. So, for the first time ever this year, something different has happened in that we do not have what we usually have, which is a school-aged kids program.
Yes, that is just at the second conference where we have our larger venue. So at this conference, because we have a smaller venue, we only are offering the early childhood age group.
So we've got parenting rooms and we've got our little preschoolers. And that's why we're so relaxed, is because for the first time in 20 years, we don't really have as much to do.
We're always a little bit relaxed for this conference as opposed to kids.
Yes,
because there's a bit of a size difference.
Yes, school is going on right now. So a lot of our kids that would be here are potentially at school.
This one is smaller. It's more, I would say it's more pretty. more beautiful.
Pretty.
Yep. Because
It
it's
is
carrying
pretty.
You mean
past the
colour or
bobbies.
just this number
no,
one?
like colour kids.
Right.
It's more it's more detailed, like in the
lot of-
look and the feel.
There's
Right.
a lot
Because
of
that
effort in
reflects our
aesthetics.
senior pastor's
Mm,
heart.
definitely.
And like Colour Conference is a beautiful conference. And so
Yes.
we put a lot of work into making sure that Colour Kids is beautiful. The gift, the theming, we try and match and complement the conference as much as possible. So you can see some pretty artwork.
We did
next
bring
to
some. We
them.
dropped some colour artwork in here for our
know.
kids,
Yep.
and
I designed this one.
so there are setup is happening right now. We've stolen the corner of a building and we're filming out towards Sydney.
This is the outlook that the parents' room, the mothers will get when they are
Yes.
in the parents' room.
so
Dave, you didn't tell them the real reason we're filming right this second.
why?
Well, the real reason.
What's the real reason?
You know, we were downstairs and a truck came in and it needed to be bumped down.
Oh, right.
Someone said, "Can I? Anyone? All hands on
We
deck."
need hands on deck.
Oh, we need
Oh,
to
we gotta
film.
a podcast.
We need to film a podcast.
We have to film a
There's a little life
podcast.
hack for you guys.
really important.
Get yourself a bog.
Big deal.
It's a leadership. It's a leadership principle. When a job needs done, it needs done. Look
No,
busy.
I'm like a truck ninja, man.
Yeah.
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 So we bump in, and
What is the
we're
latest-
avoiding bumping, is what
What
you're
is the
saying.
latest bump out you've ever done?
Oh, probably like 3 a.m.
Yeah,
3
3.
a.m.
Yeah, it was at 3 a.m. And it was really, I remember there was one where it was flooded. I don't know why, but there
no.
was a
Really
storeroom or a car park and it was flooded, but we were bumping out into it. It was very strange.
I'd actually like to hear some bump in or bump out stories from
Oh,
from
Okay.
our listeners. If they want to email us, Dave, where do they?
Hey, by
where
the
do
way,
they do?
I'm not sure if everybody calls it bump in and bump out.
Oh, that
Oh.
means like tear
Packing
down,
in,
tear
packing
down.
in, pack out.
Yeah.
Setting up.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
when- yeah.
there was one where, like, oh my gosh, it was just so cold, and we were there till all hours, just getting masking tape off concrete.
Oh.
Don't put masking tape on concrete; it is
Right.
horrendous. Anyway, that's top tip.
You know, the only story that I come back to every time I think about conference stories is just Nathan burying our prize
and
that
then
year.
not knowing where it was.
Have we ever told that story?
Amazing. Tell it. Tell
I think
it.
we should. I think we should do it again.
So at the end of our Hillsong conference, which is, we're talking a big conference for kids. A lot of school age kids are there because it's school holidays. The winning tribe, every kid was in a tribe and in a color and a team, was going to receive an exclusive trading card, because we
Yes.
make trading cards up
Yeah.
for each of our conferences. If you'd like to know more about that, ask us, because we haven't talked much about trading cards, and it's a big deal of what big part of what we do.
I think we should do that at the conference.
We should do that
special.
at a conference. So now Nathan was in charge of, for some reason, let's put it this way: he buried the trading cards, and then he would take the winning tribe. The idea was take the winning tribe and undig. What's the word? Dig up the
Yeah.
trading cards and then give them to the winning tribe.
Yep.
And that would be their special treat, and it was
couldn't find
a
it.
great thing. So he went to dig them up with a spade, and I don't know how long they were there for, but he dug up a lot of holes and couldn't find where he buried the
fun.
trading
They're
cards.
still there.
They're still there
That's
to this day.
amazing. And you know what? That's pretty much sums up our marriage.
That he's buried many
Yes.
holes.
Well, just
He's made
that
many
he
holes.
just-
He's dug many holes in
he
your
just
marriage.
Can't find
Right.
things.
Oh,
And
Right,
okay.
right,
yes,
right,
yes,
right,
yes.
right.
That's the story of our marriage.
Well, so
Nathan
you
not
could have
being
told
able
us
to
that
find-
before we got him to bury
Yeah.
trading
That would
cards.
have been great. Dave, yes, I don't think they call it bump in and bump out because that's not coming up on any of my searches.
So the
I
internet.
love the things that we do.
All right,
that
so
we
maybe
name
it's an
different
Australian
I believe
thing.
they call it venue setup.
Right.
Yeah,
That sounds really
right.
boring. You want to bump in, don't
Bump
you?
it in.
Bump it in.
Bump it in.
You bump things
Bump it
together.
out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bump
Yeah.
fists.
So that's what we're doing here. So we were talking about bumping in. So that's what's happening right now. So there are audio. What do you call it? Music rehearsals going on right now. Sound checks.
Sound checks.
And us in the corner here just chilling out.
Yeah.
You know what else I
We're
can see
hanging
is
with our team,
is I can
David.
see we are hanging with a team, and I can see Betty's Burgers down there.
Gross. Betty's Burgers is gross, guys.
Oh no, they
Said the vegan.
Gosh. Well, no, yeah. It's not even about being vegan.
I'll go and get. Oh, you know what? There's a Mexican place beside it. I'll have Mexican
Thank you.
in your honor
Thank you. That's better.
with lots of meat.
No.
So the
lots of meat.
the current situation we find ourselves in is for the first time ever is reasonably chilled. We're setting up. It's all happening, but it's a good day. So let's talk a little bit further about what Colour Conference looks like for us, because this first one is maybe not a lot to talk about. But we do have parenting rooms, and
Oh,
this year these parenting rooms are going to be amazing because we're so focused on them. I think a lot of our female staff will be in the conference because they'll have a chance to go into the conference and just sit, and all the guys will be running things out here. Is basically the idea.
Now, it's a very special conference. Unlike Hillsong Conference, we'll take kids from the age of 1.
Right.
So we'll take them the whole time. Give the mother a chance to sit in the service. And we do a full program. It's not just a minding service. Even from 1 year old, we do praise and worship. We preach the word of God.
I love it.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
And something that we started doing, I think 2 years ago, is the team started writing observations on the kids. So mums to come into the room and go, oh, my child clapped during praise and worship, and it's written down, and they get really excited
on a
by
sticker?
that. No, it's on the wall, there's a little card for each baby, and they write down cute things that the baby did during the day.
Awesome.
And the mums, I think it made the mums kind of think more about the care that was going into their child,
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and even just the sleeping, the effort that the leaders go to try and fit to the baby's sleep routine. I love this conference for that reason. 1-year-olds, having their naps at the time that works for them. If we can nail that, oh my gosh, we can make a mum's day.
I finally understand what that little card they give my mum every time she comes to pick me up. That's amazing.
Oh my god.
Funny Man Dan did a good job today. He made 11 children laugh.
Yeah.
Good job, Funny Man Dan.
Yeah, but there's the dedicated sleep room for the 1-year-old program.
I love it.
So I love that.
And any other highlights? Because I'd like to talk about colour too, because there's a lot more going on there. But anything else here that we could talk about?
The city,
being in the city.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's 2 different vibes to the conference. The Hills conference is 45 minutes away from here, out in the suburbs.
At home
but this
base.
one, this is at home base. This is really very much in the city.
And this one, because the mums are so a lot of mums leave their kids with their dad, for this conference.
Right.
But if they do bring their baby, I feel like we want to make it, they're away from home, and that can be stressful. So I really love that the parents' room has spare dummies, or what do you call them? They are called dummies. Pacifiers, or spare...
fact-checked.
Nappies.
and
diapers.
it's even spare bottles, because if mums forget something like that, that could be really, really undo their day, and formula and things like that the mums might need. And so I love that we're trying to be a home away from home in the parents' room, and that's really special. And I love that all the colours match, the artwork that Bobby has approved for the whole conference. So the parents' rooms are really reflective of the style of the conference. So the coloured pillows match the artwork, and it's very stylish space, and I really like that.
And that goes all around the globe, actually.
Right.
The whole theme and everything. I'm going to be going to my first colour conference in London this year, which I'm very excited
that's pretty
to go.
cool.
So
Amazing.
I'll be able to give you a special report on it a little later.
Yes.
Wow.
Now, let's talk about number 2, because that's there'll be a lot more kids there. Now that it's what? Oh, are you making number 2 jokes?
Yeah.
No, you are.
Let's talk about the second conference.
Yeah.
We are now. It is also a little less stressful as well, because we are at our home location. So we're used to using the building. All the facilities are there for us.
Yep.
In the past, we have had colour conferences at hired venues completely. And it's always a bit more of a bigger pressure. I feel like there was one right over there where Entertainment Centre used to stand.
You just don't want to forget anything.
We were there for a long time.
Yeah, Entertainment
Jack
Centre.
Neary room.
Totally. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's not go there.
Do we don't want to talk about Jeff Neary?
We don't want to talk about that room. But we do want to talk about the school age program.
Yes.
Because so Colour Conference is a conference about value. So when we are with the primary age kids, we're wanting to speak that value into them. We're wanting them to receive that God whisper, that heaven believes in them, and that there's an army of people who believe in them. So they come from all across. The school age kids are usually from across. They're normally global kids or regional Australia
Right,
kids.
visiting from outside
It's
Sydney.
not a lot of our local kids. So we find that they're really ready to hear the word of God. And then actually we get a lot of salvations at this event. So we do altar calls, asking them to say yes to Jesus. So we get a lot of decisions. And we also get a lot of kids whose kind of eyes open to the value that they have for the first time, because some of them come from very small churches that might not even have kids programs.
Right.
And this is the first time they're kind of hearing it directed at them on their level. And I feel like their eyes open to what.
It's always good when it's kids that aren't used to us. or they're in a new environment.
Yeah, there's so much nice out jokes.
There's no familiarity, I think is what you're saying. And so that's really lovely for us because it's when they see Dan and I have just been in Perth filming for our big curriculum. Cha-ching! Big Plus. You should check it out online right now.
The new stuff we're planning for Big Plus.
Oh, my goodness.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's really good.
Check out our children's ministry streaming platform, A Big Plus, Hillsong Kids. Search it online or click the link below if you're on YouTube. Yep. That we're filming for that, and we're over in Perth, and these kids do not get to see us very often at all, but they see Funny Man Dan, and they know us from the videos we make, and it's fantastic because we feel appreciated.
Yeah.
Unlike being like Jesus felt unappreciated in his own hometown.
Nathan was at a swimming carnival the other day, and a kid recognized him, and I had this mad chat with him. It was awesome.
Amazing.
And he was from another church. Like, it was really cool. It's real genuine chat.
So media really helps us, paves a way for us. It breaks the ice.
But my daughter had her first, I would say, really genuine, like lost in the moment worship moment at Colour.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Like within kids, what we were doing for kids?
Yeah.
That's great.
No, it was photographed and it's one of those photos that we keep using for like that.
Oh, okay. It was on the cover of, that was the one on the cover of Kids Meta magazine.
Yeah, so she just had her first real like lost in the moment God moment. And it was really cool.
Love it.
Colour conference.
That was literally, if you get Kids Meta magazine, that was on the cover maybe a year or so, a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Cool.
So, primary program, we have outings. A lot of fun.
We do outings as well.
Outings,
so we take them all out on the bus. So we make sure that we have a stronger ratio for the outings.
Mm-hmm.
I think we go for like a 1-to-5 or something like that.
Right.
Anyway, and then we put coloured T-shirts on them. We use all our old leaders' shirts. That's like a new thing, and I'm like, that's actually so smart because often we go to public places, so we put like these bright blue Hillsong Kids shirts on them, our old leader shirts, and they're all like too big, and it's hilarious. But it means that we can actually picture which kids are ours.
Yep.
So that's really
it's helpful.
Cool. And,
just a simple thing.
And we go on really cool outings. It's really fun.
All over the Hills District.
Yeah. And we do a full additional needs program at that conference too.
Right.
Conference.
Yeah. Amazing. So that's how many days now? We're talking.
It's Thursday night, Friday, day and night, and Saturday day and night.
So like 3 days, 3 nights, 2 days, and that is. Full program. So they get picked up in the afternoon, dropped off in the evening for the night services.
They bring their lunch.
It's full as full.
We have spare lunches if they forget, all that kind of stuff.
So
if I don't find them first,
their lunches, just your lunch. Funny Man Dan's lunch tax is a very famous thing.
Not even kidding. It's a Vegemite sandwich. That's what we do, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. Something simple.
And for the Americans, fact check: Vegemite is Australian chocolate.
And you should eat it with a spoon.
No, it's not.
So that's Colour Conference in a nutshell. We've talked about conferences before, and what we do is very similar at all of these. But this, as we've said, is our lowest key conference, low key conference, because it's school is happening, and we don't have
numbers. We don't need the sheer volunteer numbers.
I do have a question though about conferences. It just came in on the email.
Oh, amazing! Go for it.
As we're talking, for conferences and big events where there's a lot of what do you do personally to prepare yourself for such big events?
Emotionally and
spiritually.
Okay, so practically, I write out my schedule for the whole week, because often where we're supposed to be when is coming from all different places.
Yes.
And so I just make sure that I diarize it all, or I write it all down in one place, so then I know where I'm supposed to be when, and it's less overwhelming, and you're less likely to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Even what time the sessions start and all that kind of stuff, because it can be different.
Absolutely.
Anyway, just having it all written down so I don't get confused. That's what I do.
Scheduling. Here's one thing I like to do before a conference. I want to kind of figure out what is going to be a win for me at conference. So what's the thing that I need to? If I do this and I pull this off, I'm going to feel good about the conference. I'm going to feel like I contributed.
That's really good.
And so for example, this conference, it's not. I'm doing emceeing with. I'm not doing a lot with the kids because there's not a lot of kids, and so. But the big thing is we need to accomplish was this. So this is being really practical. Yep. I really wanted to get this filmed.
Yes, avoid unpacking the truck.
No, but the other thing I wanted, we want to film a little final section for a music video.
Yeah, great.
In the second conference. So that's my goal for that.
That's awesome.
I need to achieve that. But with the kids, there'll be some messages for the second conference that I want to go, I want to nail this, this, and this. And if I do that, I will have contributed. I'll feel like I've added something. But also, you've blessed other people.
Honesty time. this conference last year was the first conference that I've ever really gotten grumpy at.
Oh,
because
really?
That's years and years and years of conferences, right? I'm generally high energy, don't really run out of energy. But last year, because I was kind of involved in a couple different areas, but none of it was very practical, I felt like it was more idle time if I wasn't deliberate. So then I got grumpy, and then I was like, oh, this is why people get grumpy at conference, because they've got too much idle time. Right. They're not being deliberate enough. So I love that you have your little outcomes for the day. And then I decided, okay, Jess, if you have coffee with this person in that break, and you encourage Bobby from when she's preaching, and you go out to kids and you celebrate everyone for their great job, you're winning.
I remember I remember that. I remember you
remember me being grumpy.
Well, I feel like you've talked about it. No. I remember. I feel like you talked about going, I'm not doing anything. I need to do something. And it's weird because...
And I realised why all those people get grumpy.
Yes.
Because they're not keeping themselves occupied. Because you actually have to choose to make your time count. Like, you can just let the whole thing drift by.
You can. Now, working with kids as we do, you cannot let anything drift by because there's always something to fix.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I feel that when I don't have any, like... as I've mentioned before, I've only really ever been into maybe one or two. I went into a couple of sessions last Hillsong conference, but before that, I had only been into one conference and I fell asleep.
And we used to be so busy and we fell asleep.
Yeah.
Because
it was just so intense.
There used to not be as many of us that were operating at key levels, and so we used to be so exhausted that we'd fall asleep.
And that was
sat still.
Yep. That was Reinhard Bonnke, the very passionate.
Me too. We fell asleep in the same session.
I don't know. My first conference, I fell asleep on some chairs behind the stage, and I completely missed a
performance.
Performance, and they were chanting my name for 10 minutes.
No, Nathan and Dave once had a nap in a storeroom and received a warning.
No, we didn't get a warning. We just got busted.
You got busted.
There was no official.
You got busted.
I'm sure Joe doesn't even remember it.
Let me just
check
your file.
They were like 20, 21, 22, maybe.
It was a long time ago. And I was definitely older than that. I'm an old man.
Old.
But
still on your file, Dave. I just checked it.
Oh, thanks, Dan. I appreciate that.
Still on your file.
Fact checking. So that's.
So just don't be idle.
No,
if you're bored, it's your fault.
Find something you can contribute to.
Exactly.
I love helping get rid of lines. As in, sometimes there's a line just because people are sheep and they just follow the person in front of them, and you can say, if you come over here into this, and
it's so true.
In big conferences, I love doing that because I hate. What's the word? Inefficiency.
It's so true. At conferences, one of our huge goals is to not have lines.
Correct.
Our registration kind of help area. I think at Kidsong it got to 5 deep, and that was the worst it got. And I was like, that is amazing.
Very good. And it's because there are sometimes there's a line and you just can't help it.
Yeah, we've worked out ways to do it.
Yeah, and sometimes there's a line though, and it's just because of inefficiency. And I know how I feel in a queue. And I don't want people to suffer that same thing.
But seriously, if you're ever doing a big conference, guys, contact us because, we can send you some details on how to eliminate those lines directly because we love you.
Where would they contact us, fact checker Dan?
At the vault.
Vault.
I know.
Hillsong.com.
I'm setting up
the vault.
Okay, that was like a cute moment. Okay.
That was a cute moment.
I was just really passionate. Don't you know what we're doing here?
Now it's time to hear from our sponsor. A cute moment.
So on the other end of that, you're saying you want to be deliberate, make sure you don't have idle time. On the other end of that, a lot of people when you're doing an event, you find that you have zero time. You are just completely rushed off your feet.
Yes.
And that would be an experience for a lot of these people, especially smaller teams, or if you're doing something new. Can
I tell you where I think we turned a corner?
Yep.
Where the rushed off your feet, I feel like we were all rushed off our feet, but then once we started to document things really, really well, and clearly have plans for if it rains, plans for a lot of different things, and a lot of documented stuff meant that it took, it makes delegating easier.
Wow.
You're taking away decisions that have to be made on the spot because you've made them before the conference.
So once we started to document things and then year on year build that documentation, it meant that everyone was referring to decisions that had already been made, like you said.
Right.
And then it was easier to teach people how to do things because you already had it written on paper. And paper's boring. I hate paperwork, but it has changed the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a folder this thick for Kidsong. Yeah, it's called the Black Book, and it has like all our event info. But then
is it black?
Also all our pastoral leadership stuff goes in there too. And no, it's not black. It's just a folder. But it's called the Black Book. I don't know why. But anyway, it's just got all the detail in it.
Oh, you know what?
And do you know what? An initiative that I found really fun? Yes. Sorry. At our events, the team started doing like a welcome video for when the kids are getting dropped off. So they saved their voice. So at Kids Fest, it was like, hi, welcome to Kids Fest. This is where you put your bag. You need to say hi to your leader. This is how it works. This is where the bathrooms are.
Ooh,
but it was just played on a loop so that it saved the leaders' voices. And it was a warm welcome but from a screen. It was weird. It sounds weird and impersonal, but it worked. It's amazing.
Well, yeah, and you've got 1,000 kids walking into that room.
And that's one less thing that you have to do on the day.
Absolutely. Okay, so you know what? I kind of feel like I think this is just the color version, the color edition of the episode.
Yes, it was very colourful.
That was good, short and sweet. Yep. Talk about color. We've got some questions. We'll get to the next episode.
Say one more event thing?
Yeah, go on.
Like, just you need to really plan for lunch and dinner breaks.
Oh, yes.
That's like the biggest thing where your volunteer team will come undone. And if it's not documented, even if it changes, like we change stuff all the time. Just because it's documented doesn't mean it's set in stone, but it gives you something to work from.
Right.
So that you go, oh, no, we're actually going to change the lunch breaks or change the dinner breaks. But at least people know that there's the intention that they will have 45 minutes for lunch and half an hour for dinner or whatever. And if anything changes from that, like getting the meals en masse and making it work somehow. But just please schedule lunch and dinner breaks for.
Well, you've actually brought up a good point. We haven't really talked much about volunteers and their volunteer experience, but that's a good example. Is you need to have a plan. Yeah, where are they going to go? What are they going to do? You need to give them space, emotion, mentally from the event. So include that in your plans.
Totally.
Yeah, make sure you're drinking water. My wife started a team.
Yes, it's the best. It's called the Angels.
The Mobile Angels, because we worked out that a lot of people weren't getting adequate breaks because they were going above and beyond to making sure things were done. So we took the Leaders Lounge, we had this amazing Leaders Lounge, which no one was using because people were
busy,
rushed off their feet, and these would go and they'd go get lunches and they would go bring tea.
They have little trolleys and they have their urn on the back of the trolley. It's super cute.
It had wings and stuff.
It's a good idea. So, good idea. Sometimes you don't just need space. Yeah, check what's not being used in your events, because all these big ideas sometimes we just do because we've done them, and that idea wasn't successful as just making a room for leaders to hang out in, but making the mobile was a great way to change that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Great.
The podcast. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us on the Vault podcast.
No worries.
It is not. No, that wasn't for you, Jess. That was for the audience.
Sure. I'm just checking one more fact.
That was amazing.
One more fact.
Yep, they're done with unpacking the truck.
Great.
Yes.
How convenient.
Oh, wow.
Make sure you like and subscribe if you're on YouTube here. Check us out on all of the local platforms. All the places that you get YouTubes and you get social media. We'll be there. Please follow. And we'll see you next time on The Vaults.